Hello wealth creators. Can you believe we have began a new week already? We hope you have been following your dreams and putting in the work. Our goal with our Monday videos is to always motivate you and give you insightful secret codes which you can leverage to your own advantage if you choose to. If you are new here, welcome. Be sure to subscribe for our weekly videos. Welcome to Golden Wealth Channel, the place where self-made billionaires come to get secret codes for wealth creation and personal advancement. Every Monday as you begin your week, we give you wisdom codes that enables you to begin your week with the end in mind. With that being said, let's get straight into today's video. 15 Greatest Liabilities in the 21st Century. A liability isn't always a burden weighed in material. Here are 15 things we might not notice yet are indeed limiting us. A conversation with a dear companion incited us to contemplate the liabilities that neutralize you in this day and age. A few things are fundamentally impeding and hindering your advancement throughout everyday life. With the mechanical development we're encountering at present, these are more significant than any other time in recent memory. At first, we needed to zero in on monetary liabilities alone, yet we immediately understood there's a whole other world to the issue than meets the eye, and we can hardly wait to examine these with you. So here it is, the 15 greatest liabilities in the 21st century. 1. Obligation in the entirety of its structures is a devastating and oppressing risk for the general public. Obligation is the most well-known type of responsibility. No place is this more predominant than in the United States of America. From the second you're brought into the world to the second you pass on, individuals are in a competition to get away from obligation. The U.S. has marketed without question everything. Calling an emergency vehicle. That is no less than $1,000. You need to hold your kid after you bring forth her. That will be $50. This is all surprising to any individual who lives in the created world like Europe or the remainder of the English-talking nations. We want to be kidding, yet on the off chance that you get injured in the US, individuals don't call the emergency vehicle, they call a Uber. Pause for a minute to ponder your childhood. You're in your 20s. This is the second you should follow it throughout everyday life, the second you finish your investigations and prepared to enter the commercial center. Understudy obligation is the greatest pressure an individual can take upon themselves at this stage, separated from having an early kid. Would you be able to envision being 22 years of age and right now $200,000 paying off debtors? Sure. You can pay it on schedule for the leftover of your functioning life, however you're conveying everything on your shoulders. This extra stress is undoubtedly keeping you up around evening time. Additionally, a decent part of the populace is conveying this obligation way into retirement. Suppose you some way or another figure out how to disregard the understudy obligation, you're as yet a self-assured person. You discover your first love and are prepared to begin a family. Your obligation consolidations and presently you're owing debtors, all things considered, however essentially you're cheerful. You're both working and are prepared to purchase a house to live in light of the fact that everyone disclosed to you that leasing is for washouts. You don't have the money to get it cash, since you're now paying off debtors, so what do you do? From having an early kid. Would you be able to envision being 22 years of age and right now $200,000 paying off debtors? Sure. You can pay it on schedule for the leftover of your functioning life, however you're conveying everything on your shoulders. This extra stress is undoubtedly keeping you up around evening time. Additionally, a decent part of the populace is conveying this obligation way into retirement. Suppose you some way or another figure out how to disregard the understudy obligation, you're as yet a self-assured person. You discover your first love and are prepared to begin a family. Your obligation consolidations and presently you're owing debtors, all things considered, however essentially you're cheerful. You're both working and are prepared to purchase a house to live in light of the fact that everyone disclosed to you that leasing is for washouts. You don't have the money to get it cash, since you're now paying off debtors, so what do? You settle the score more owing debtors, to purchase a property. Society has become an economy of obligation, of installment plans and memberships. Individuals get contracts without understanding that you wind up following through on practically twofold the cost of the house you purchased. Individuals don't have the foggiest idea about this yet. The initial 10 years on a long-term contract, you're simply taking care of the interest on the credit, not in any event addressing the rule. What's more, God disallow you have a disease that requires more mind-boggling medicines for then it's undoubtedly game over. Hopefully that doesn't occur. 55 years some other time when you at last result all your obligation, Junior is prepared to begin the cycle all once more. Be extremely cautious with awful obligation wealth creators, for until you reimburse it, your time no longer has a place with you. With this enormous one far removed, we'll attempt to keep the rest somewhat more limited. To not speaking English, this probably won't be the situation for you as you're paying attention to this in English. But since of how things turned out after wars and colonization, the greater part of human information is put away and moved in English. The triumphant economies directed this due to the monetary motivation. The greater part of value media content on the planet is in English. The main language books are meant in case they're not written in English will be English. Why? Since that is the means by which you contact the vast majority. Individuals who can stand to purchase what you're selling. Everyone on the planet knows who Michael Jordan or Arnold Schwarzenegger are in spite of the neighborhood populace being only 300 million. What number of Americans or Europeans do you think know who Shah Rukh Khan or Sachin Tendulkar are? A valid example. Nations like India and China have huge enough populaces to foster their own inner biological systems, however this has effectively been won. The new vehicle of move of data is the web, and the web was implicit English. It is just the most recent few years neighborhood forces to be reckoned with have begun to foster this nearby climate, and we're seeing a touch more weakening. Back from this digression, in the event that you don't communicate in English, you wouldn't have the option to get the quality data we and others like us give, information that mixtures and applies straightforwardly into your day-by-day life. Regular we get somewhere in the range of 10 and 50 messages of individuals inquiring as to whether they can make an interpretation of our substance into their neighborhood geologies and give us a segment of the procuring. Some have effectively done it without our endorsement, and we've needed to bring their substance down for licensed innovation encroachment. You see, content in English is financially significant, and financial backers are continually hoping to secure their venture. That is the manner by which you end up with the nearby Russian adaptation of The Vindicators with a Behrman rather than the mass. Here's Russia's rendition of The Avengers, counting a hold on for an assault rifle, since why not? No doubt, that is the way current individuals take a gander at the Amish local area, for instance. These individuals don't have the foggiest idea what the climate is going to resemble tomorrow. Absence of web means absence of training, absence of free discourse, absence of capacity to sort out and address local area issues. What's more, that is a great deal of risk. Each significant descent over the most recent 5 years has been coordinated on the web. Probably the greatest social developments have been sped up by the capacity to coordinate with the assistance of the web. At the point when everyone has the likelihood to communicate into the interwebs, it's not difficult to focus a light on shamefulness and get down on it. We invest the majority of our energy web-based, contemplating exactly how subordinate we are on the web. Today we work on the web, we request food and shop on the web, we go to class on the web, we engage ourselves on the web, we even discover our accomplices on the web. Each part of your life is moving into the cloud, each application in turn. The web resembles the biggest social commercial center on the planet, and we as a whole approach it through our screens. Since the beginning of trade, individuals realized that assuming you need to get the most bang for your items, you need to go to the city market. That is the place where the cash is. Selling your stuff in your town market doesn't have similar ROI. Quick forward a couple millennia and the web is the new commercial center, the new college, and the new Coliseum. While web is accomplishing all the more great, it has additionally cost us adequately. Discover what's occurring to art in the age of the web. For absence of banking infrastructure, a few other. See Sahara in India, Caritas in Romania, in Russia, to all the more as of late Bernie Madoff or Bitcoin. How you doin', Carlos? All great? Didn't think so. The issue is individuals partner training with school, and albeit this was valid previously, you're not shown monetary instruction in school, which presently has become a responsibility for you. While your psyche could be one of your most important resources, for a great many people it's a significant responsibility. They're not sure how cash functions, how you acquire it, or how things are esteemed. Envision playing Monopoly, and rather than purchasing properties that bring in you cash, everything you do is circumvent the board and gather the $200 when you pass go. Sounds moronic, right? Well, that is the means by which a great many people carry on with life. 6. Unremarkable teachers. Suppose you didn't luck out and have somebody give you monetary instruction, you can in any case carry on with a cheerful, where you are today. 7. Thinking everything is a conspiracy. Constructions are worked from building blocks. You construct a certain something and afterward trust it enough to fabricate something different on top of it. The issue with connivance scholars is that they refute all that as being valuable during the time spent structure. This isn't just an obligation restricting their own advancement, yet in addition devastating the general public overall. These are individuals who trust in the mysterious base on the dark side of the moon, that the world is level, that the coronavirus immunization is really a following chip or an action for populace control, that the banks are Satan, the public authority is watching them, or that 5G is causing COVID for the Chinese. I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of retarded. Know your meme ain't being grounded in outdated beliefs. You know something different that keeps you down? Contemplating the present. Similarly, you pondered it 100 years prior. We are right now living in a culture of development. Future is presently elderly person image fam. This is the reason the old age feels caught and assaulted constantly. Envision growing up and interracial relationships were in a real sense unlawful until 1967. They experienced childhood in reality as we know it, where bigotry was all right. Religion compensates poor people and the fragile with an unfathomable length of time of joy in heaven, be it reconnecting you with your tragically missing family members, resurrecting you as a cost, like we have large numbers of those left around, or giving you virgins. Development and success come from accepting advancement. The way that we're not 20 years ahead on gene editing on the grounds that your religion doesn't need us playing God is the place where things get somewhat hazy for us. It used to be that some time ago God would either recuperate your infection or have you come to paradise. Back then, future was under 40 years. Somewhat is dealt with. We have this thing as people where we need different people to believe that we are progressing nicely, that we have status. Also, it turns into a risk. The quest for glancing wealthy in the present moment is really making you poor over the long haul. 11. Having kids too early. You have no clue about how costly of a risk it is to have children, until you do have children. Also, you better acknowledge isn't simply cash costly, however time, consideration, feeling and yes obviously cash. Youngsters raised right require your information continually, and however much we'd prefer to consider ourselves performing multiple tasks machines, we are not. Having children too soon expects you to forfeit something consequently, and it's one of those circumstances where you will forfeit the long haul for transient trade-offs. No one shows you how to be an extraordinary parent, so we chose to take care of this. 12. Powerlessness to market yourself. Recently we had content on loners and outgoing individuals which you folks adored. Promoting yourself doesn't mean you need to turn into a day-by-day vlogger. Rather, it centers around captivating everyone of unremarkableness. For one to be effective throughout everyday life, one necessitates to figure out how to separate themselves. You may be the most gifted laborer on the planet, if no one thinks about you, you won't become effective. 13. Avoiding any and all risks gets killed via automation. Avoiding any and all risks on the planet that we're living in right presently is enthusiastic and mental obligation. No one needs to spend their lives maintaining unfulfilling sources of income that scarcely keep them alive. Considerably more thus, innovation is coming after the unfulfilling, the dull, the exhausting positions. We like to say that, except if you work in the product business, it's inevitable until programming enters your industry. Since we trust its reality. Perhaps the greatest risk you can encounter right currently is seeing this huge tempest drawing closer and not taking your umbrella when you're going out. 14. Can't follow through. What's to you isn't in your reality. You know what's keeping you down? Yourself. You need discipline. You come up short on the capacity to center your choices. You love to pass judgment on yourself by your expectation rather than your activities. All of you imagine that they're exceptional. Indeed, we're discussing you. You believe you're bound for significance, that you can hardly wait to show the world your latent capacity. However, this is perhaps the greatest snare there is. Potential is worthless except if it's executed. Time will pass by and one day you'll understand that that load of dreams and objectives you've been misleading yourself that will occur for you, won't ever will. You will become baffled, desirous and disillusioned in light of the fact that you accept that you could have accomplished more when actually, we are our main thing, not what we say we'll do. 15. Human connection and emotional intelligence. In a world that is as innovation-driven and socially associated as the one we live in, human association and passionate insight aren't pretty much as normal as you'd anticipate. No one realizes how to interface with different people any longer. No one realizes that how will generally be empathic. Furthermore, this is a responsibility keeping you down. The individuals who do realize how to associate, have gotten wealthy in the previous decade in light of exactly how significant this expertise has become. Incidentally, the specific abilities you wish you had are the ones they use to keep you returning to these informal organizations that we love to detest to such an extent. We as people are a blend of the multitude of fixings we construct ourselves with, and the things referenced on this rundown can unquestionably keep you down in your quest for being more than what you as of now are. Question: what is one risk you could add to this rundown? We can hardly wait to hear what you'd bring to the table. Thank you, wealth creators. Be sure to subscribe. If you loved this video, give us a thumbs up and let us know the topic you want us to cover in our next video.